Coming up, we'll see the 2017 Heisman winner Baker Mayfield facing fellow Sooner and 2018 Heisman winner Kyler Murray. Can Baker even up their head-to-head record at 1 win apiece? Find out next on EA Sports.
First opened in 1999, there's a good look at First Energy Stadium here in Cleveland, Ohio. The folks here in Cleveland, even though all the down years, have never stopped supporting their hometown guys, and we got evidence of that a moment ago as the Browns made their entrance. They are ready to do battle with the Arizona Cardinals. Again, everyone, with Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin. And, Charles, we look at this Browns ball club. They're off to a terrific start, unbeaten at 5-0 through the first month and change. And you can hang a lot of this early success on their defense, too. They're the tone setters for these guys, and the entire team feeds off of what they do. Meanwhile, for the visiting Cardinals here, we're in October now, so everybody should be coming into form, shouldn't they? They really should, and what you have now is a full routine established about what you want to get done and full focus on the season. Set to go now in Week 6 of the NFL season, and we are underway on EA Sports. And he opts to not bring this one out. The first drive will start at the 25. Arizona Cardinals offense coming out here for the first time, and you get a peek at Kyler Murray, the dangerous offensive weapon now in his third season in the National Football League. I think his task in this game is really simple. Eliminate the turnovers. He threw 2 interceptions last week. I can't believe I led with that because he had 3 touchdown passes. Right. So there's a lot of good that he did, but he's got to take care of the ball better. The ball has to go to guys wearing the jerseys that they're wearing this week, not the opposition. Murray now on first down. This one grabbed by A.J. Green. And he's going to get a good gain of 9 here up to the 34. Give him 9 there on the first down completion. Boy, these defenses in the AFC North, they probably thought that they were done with A.J. Green. They saw him beat them up for a better part of a decade when he was a Cincinnati Bengal. And now they play him again here as he's an Arizona Cardinal. Here's a pass swung out left to his running back. 6 yards the pickup, and that's a first down. Defensively here, you're facing a top 5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL. So when they're that high-powered, you've got to find a way to hold them under 20, because to me, that's the magic number. 20-point score gives yourself your best chance to win. So if they're up around 24, 28, 30, they could be in some trouble. And I think so, because then you turn it into a shootout, and that means your offense has to keep pace. 12 yards the pickup, good enough for an Arizona first. Murray to air it out again. To Connor on the check down. The completion, but they go in the wrong direction. A loss of yards, and now they're dealing with a 2nd and long. First carry for James Conner. Bulldozes past him. And able to break 1 tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. They'll wind up getting 10 back as that sets them up for 3rd down. Well, this defense for the Browns, they were excellent last week in the win over the Chargers. And what keyed their victory? The pass rush. Got to the quarterback 6 times for sacks, and plenty of other turbulence in the pocket for him as well. Hard to throw the ball downfield when all you're seeing is opposing jerseys come at you. He'll dump this one off to Connor. Shoves him away. And he'll go out of bounds after taking it a little further down inside the 40. That'll go as a pickup of 8. Nice job keeping that opening drive alive, and they're in plus territory, that part of the field where you really want to convert on 3rd down. They did. Big-time pickup for them, and now I think the aggressive play callers think to themselves, this part of the field, I take my shot at the end zone, because the closer you get to the end zone,
the field gets condensed. Makes it a lot tougher to run those routes. You still got a chance to actually run past people right now. Take your shot at the end zone early in the down and distance count.
They run on first down as they get about 3. 2nd and 7 forthcoming. The last run got 3. Now here's 2nd and 7. Well, this defense for the Browns, they were excellent last week in the win over the Chargers.
But we certainly had a nice conversation with the defensive coordinator, didn't we? And what we heard, I like what we did, but we definitely need more pressure on the quarterback this week.
And on 3rd and 5, this will be the 8th play of the drive. Murray going to throw. He lets this one fly toward the back of the end zone. Open man Green. He's got it. Touchdown, Arizona. A.J. Green, his 6th touchdown of the season. And the Cardinals have taken the early lead. And now, of course, all scoring plays are reviewed, and I think they're going to take an extra long look at this one. They're taking a peek at whether or not those feet were in bounds, and obviously a big call here in the end zone.
And not just the feet. How about the hands? How is the ball possessed while the feet are hopefully getting down in bounds? That's what they're trying to look at to see if it all comes together.
After review of the play, ruling on the field stands.
So they called it a touchdown originally, and this will stay a touchdown after the video review, so they had it right. Prater for the extra point, and that makes the score 7-0. After the touchdown, out is Prater to kick. He will return this from deep in the end zone. And in hindsight, probably should have taken a knee as he only gets this out to the 16-yard line. And for the first time, here comes the Cleveland Browns offense. Quarterbacked by Baker Mayfield, 4th-year man from Oklahoma.
And I think it's safe to say that, and I heard him say it in the post-game press conference, that was a team win last week because he didn't really play up to his normal standards, throwing 2 interceptions.
No touchdown.
Yeah, didn't offset it at all, but the team found a way to get it done.
Mayfield going to lead the Browns up now, 1st and 10 at their own 16. And that closed up quickly there as he gets it up only to about the 17. A check on the numbers for Chubb from a week ago. 2 trips to the end zone and well past 100 yards.
And going back and watching the film, we saw every kind of run from him, didn't we? We saw some power, we saw finesse, we saw speed, and what I love the most, he finished each and every run.
Mayfield off the play fake. And on the left sideline, he caught it, but out of bounds, according to the head linesman. Incomplete, so the ball a little late getting there, and it's 3rd down. Charles, already trailing by a touchdown early. This offense, how imperative is it for them to get points out of this drive?
Well, they feel like they have to go ahead and match because of what was already on the board against their defense. But I think even more so, you just want to avoid 3 and outs. You want to be able to stay on the field for a little while, let your defense catch their breath a little bit, even if you don't score any points.
A nifty bit of scrambling there. 12 yards, 1st down.
That's something you have to be aware of as a defense and have to find a way to account for him. And if you're not going to use a spy, you're telling your guys to keep your eyes on him because when he breaks out and makes plays like that, all he does is hurt you.
Have to at least be able to contain him somewhat. There they could not. Mayfield on 1st down. Dancing to his left. He finds an opening past the 40. And past the 40 before he's out of bounds. Opted to run for it. The decision a good one. Picking up the 1st, getting 14 yards on the scramble.
Containing him is becoming a big problem. We've already seen this once earlier on this drive.
Yeah, and so now 2 times this has happened. Do you adjust something?
Yeah, I think you do. I think you got to start thinking about your rush lanes. Try not to either get too wide or too narrow. Make sure someone is there waiting for him to take off.
A couple of 1st downs has the football positioned at the 43 as they come up 1st and 10. Mayfield now. And it's hauled in by Austin Hooper. And he takes this just a few yards shy of the red zone before going out. It's a gain of 34. Every defensive staff harps on limiting explosive plays. Job not so well done there.
Yeah, they talk about it all the time. A lot harder to stop, though, isn't it? And when you think of an explosive play, most offensive staffs define them as passes of 20 or more yards and runs of 15 or more yards.
They went zooming past that number there. So the big play gets him all the way down to the outskirts of the red zone here for 1st and 10. Mayfield looks to throw. Being chased out left. Nothing open downfield, so he'll throw it away. So, Charles, you look at this offense, so what a start to the season. 5 wins without a loss. When do you think that you start believing that maybe you're in the midst of something special?
Well, you and I both know every head coach never wants that thought to creep into a locker room. But the truth of the matter is,
under a heavy rush, and down he goes. The sack there by J.J. Watt.
And Arizona spent the entire offseason with their eyes firmly towards making the playoffs in 2021. A big reason they signed J.J. Watt. Not only does he still have a lot left in the tank, think about the great leadership he'll provide this team, as well as some terrific play.
And now the throw here is incomplete, and with that, we come to the end of the first quarter of play. After one, 7-0 on EA Sports. On to the second from Cleveland. It's the Browns in control of the football.
Chase McLaughlin on for the field goal. A 51-yard attempt.
And this one looks good. It is good. Right down the pipe. And they are on the board, but still trailing. It's 7-3. So, yes, it's only 3, but at least they're able to answer back after giving up the touchdown to start the game.
Yeah, I like the observation there because getting some points on the board, very positive for them. Feel a little bit better about things because if you don't score, you potentially have opened the door for them to score again, and then you're down 14.
And no run back here for Moore. It's a touchback, and it'll come out to the 25. There's James Conner now as he trots back onto the field. The passing game, they've had more success there than the running game. Maybe something they game plan for.
How come they didn't tell us about it?
Because they wanted to keep it a secret.
We did ask, didn't we? But I think what happened in this one is they've realized that they've established the run pretty well, and teams are going to key on that. They thought they could open it up and have success through the air, and that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, they've had success at least so far here in the second quarter. Murray now on first down. And caught right side, Green. And he gets this one just shy of the 40, down at the 39. Now after the completion, we're going to get a timeout, an injured player. Well, he gets attended to. We'll step aside. So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Here's Murray. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Smith. And he's able to get this one out closer to midfield across the 45.
It's pretty easy to overlook the fullback when you're making your assignments defensively in the pass coverage game, but in this case, they made him pay for that oversight and picks up a nice gain.
2nd and 2. Edmonds running out of the shotgun, and he'll get it into enemy territory just across midfield at the 49. They'll get 3 as the drive continues. It's a 1st down. Murray a give. This is counter. Malik Jackson there to make the stop.
Yeah, things were pretty stacked up there in the middle of the line. A lot of bodies, not much space. I think ultimately he was fortunate to get anything out of that run.
On 2nd and 9, Murray. That's complete to Williams out of the backfield. And they're going to have another 1st down as he's going to be tackled at the Browns' 29-yard line. 19 yards there on the catch and run.
So many times in my career, I've heard coaches talk about completions are one thing. But as long as we're there at the catch and we get guys on the ground, we can live with that. But if you're going to give up 10, 12, 15 yards after the catch, then your defense is going to be in a lot of trouble.
And down he goes, taking it inside the 10, just shy of the 5 at the 6. 23 yards on the play. Two big plays in succession. Not sure this D knows what hit him, but now they got to get ready. It's 1st and goal. They'll run here with Connor. And a minuscule gain of maybe a yard from the 6 to the 5.
Well, they certainly had success throwing the ball in this drive, and not as much running it as we just saw once again on that last play. Stopped after a very short gain. But I wouldn't abandon the run totally, because otherwise, pass rush is just too off on your quarterback. Makes it very, very difficult for him in that situation. His path became similar to almost running a stretch play, didn't it? Trying to find a crease, anywhere to put his foot in the ground and cut back. It just never materialized.
And he'll take this one in for the Arizona touchdown. Kyler Murray with touchdown number 15 on the year and 2nd of the game. And the Cardinals now adding on to their lead.
I'd have to say that for him, that was an all-encompassing drive because it was his arm that got his team down to that point, but his legs that finished the deal. Give him credit for making it happen.
Prater on to add the extra point. And this one's right through to make it a 14-3 ball game. So that drive consumes 9 plays all told. And the play that polished it off was the touchdown run by Kyler Murray. After the touchdown, out is Prater to kick. This taken in at the goal line. And beyond the 20, but not by much. In fact, just a yard pass there to the 21. Second drive coming up here for Cleveland as they return to the field on offense. And fortunate to get points on the board last time. They had to hit a really long field goal to do so.
The kickers in today's game are so good and so skilled and hit from distances that we almost start to take them for granted, and we can't do that. That's a long field goal that they got 3 points out of. They've got to feel good about that, and they better make sure they love him up because he's helped them out.
Yeah, now we'll see. Oh, that's into a sea of bodies, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Super Bowl 49 hero Malcolm Butler. And a terrific return as he takes this thing all the way down near the 20-yard line. Coming up at halftime, I'll go from one personality, that's you, Charles Davis, to another one in Orlando, the coach. He'll have stats and scores from around the NFL. You and Jonathan Coachman both larger than life.
No doubt about it.
But you're stuck with me in this booth,
Yes,
and he's miles away and smiling.
And happy.
From the 21, it's 2nd and 10. Throwing now is Murray. And the reception made by Green. Touchdown, Cardinals. A.J. Green with his 2nd touchdown here in this first half. And the Cardinals are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. So simple math here in the first half. They've had 3 drives offensively, and they have scored every time, and they've got the lead.
Well, whenever we talk about adjustments, we usually talk about an offense making adjustments, right? This is all about the defense. They've got to figure out some way, somehow to slow them down. Do they blitz a little bit more? Do they play more zone coverage? Right now, they don't know where to go because they're hitting them in every direction.
Now Prater to add the PAT. And it's 21-3. Well, that drive started with not a whole lot of real estate in front of them. In plus territory, excellent field position. 2 plays later, pay dirt. After the touchdown, out is Prater to kick. Taking it about the 1. And he'll get it up past the 20 to about the 22. With the football going back over now to the Cleveland Browns. And last time, one play interception. So this offense, they should be fresh.
That's a good way of putting it. And I can't wait to see what they decide to do with play calling, because a one-play drive where you throw an interception.
And this is caught right along the sideline. What a job of keeping the toes in bounds there. And all the way in. Touchdown, Cleveland. Well, fair to say that when you're looking at guys that can run like the wind, you often find them at the wide receiver position, and that was special there.
Well, in this league where coordinators worry so much about drawing up the right routes, blocking assignments, misdirections and stuff, they have these precise arrows and movements. Sometimes the best plays just come from the schoolyard where you look at your fastest guy and say, go long, go get it, big man.
Extra point by McLaughlin is up and good. And that'll make this now an 11-point deficit. The Browns kicking team out there now as they'll send this one away. And Moore, he's going to sit on this one, and the drive will begin at the 25-yard line. Now Kyler Murray ready to get back under center, and he's been good. 2 first-half touchdown passes, no interceptions so far.
Does a lot for your confidence, does a great deal for your team, gives them a lead, and they're feeling really good about how they're playing. I think he expects to throw at least another one.
I was going to say, now he wants the first-half hat trick, doesn't he?
Oh, without a doubt. Go ahead and fling him on the field, folks. He wants that type of celebration.
And he'll be upended at the 28-yard line. Just a 3-yard gain there. 3 yards the gain there, second down.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
Now he's going to swing this one out to his running back. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. The Cardinals going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime. Throwing on first down is Murray. Screen pass to Connor. A first down for Connor, and then some. Shedding the tackler that gives him some room. Touchdown! James Conner, his 4th touchdown on the year. And the Cardinals push further out in front. Well, it doesn't matter where you put him, lined up in the backfield or split out like he was there. He can be a weapon when he gets that ball in his hands.
Yeah, and this just looked like a simple, ordinary play to start, but boy, did things change. Once he got free, it was off to the races, and once he hit high gear, there's absolutely no one who was going to stop him.
Extra point good by Prater, and the lead is up to 18 now. The drive there only spanning 3 plays, and it winds up in a touchdown for Arizona. After the touchdown, out is Prater to kick. This fielded right at the goal line. And he'll go down as this drive will start at the 25-yard line. Drive about to get started. And with a 3-score deficit staring him in the face, they might have to press the issue here and try to get points out of this drive. Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Super Bowl 49 hero Malcolm Butler. And they will finally get him, but not until he's all the way down inside the 15-yard line. An unfortunate sequence there, trying to get points before intermission, but now the interception, and their opponents have a chance to possibly pad their lead.
Yeah, they had an opportunity there, and they weren't able to capitalize on it, and that's something that could come back and haunt them later. They're begging their defense now to keep them from scoring before the half ends.
And he'll protect himself at the end here as he winds up getting pretty decent yardage. And now timeout is whistled as it appears there's a Brown shaken up on the play. While the training staff works on him, we'll step aside and be right back. Throwing again on second down. Murray. Escaping the pressure right. And he's able to get this down to the 5-yard line before he's out of bounds. He'll wind up with positive yardage. It's a gain of 3, but now it's third down.
Now, how about that play? He took a possible negative and turned it into positive yardage and slid down to avoid taking a big shot. Excellent job getting down and avoiding the big hit.
Murray to throw on 3rd and 1. Steps away to his left. He didn't get the touchdown, but he did get the first down as he's tackled at the 1. And now Murray's going to set up the throw. Touchdown, Cardinals! James Conner as the first half is winding down. And the Cardinals will extend their lead here just before halftime. CD, it seemed like they were so focused on the guys out wide, they forgot about him out of the backfield.
That's a really good point because you got to communicate, and oftentimes when you start counting receivers, that's exactly what you do. You start from the widest receiver, work your way inside. Who gets lost sometimes? The back in the backfield. That's exactly what happened there.
And he got into the end zone. So not much time to speak of remaining in this first half as the kick's away. This one fielded at the 5. And makes it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. The Cleveland offense ready to go as they'll take over with just 13 seconds to go before the break. And he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down. Now a timeout taken. Perhaps a chance for one more quick play and then another timeout if they hurry. We'll see. 2nd and 20. Another try after the first down sack. Mayfield. And able to get this across the 20 before going out of bounds.
Partner, it was a definite passing down, but he was able to leak out and pick up some good yardage, even though the coverage was excellent. Maybe it's not exactly how they drew it up, but he still got a big chunk of yardage on 2nd down.
Final play of the half, Mayfield. He'll let it go deep for Beckham. And unable to connect, incomplete. I'll give them credit, they took their shot, but it's going to bring up 4th down. So we've come to halftime after a very one-sided beginning to this one. As we'll head down to Orlando, that's where we find our man Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
All right, Brandon, thanks. A few teams starting to rise to the top as it's time to take you around the NFL here in Week 6. We'll get things started up at Ford Field in Detroit, where it was definitely a game with some intrigue, as you can see by the scoreline. Joe Burrow leading the way in the victory with 3 touchdown passes. From there, let's head to the foot of the Rockies, Denver, Colorado, to check in on the Broncos. And they have the lead in that one over the visiting Raiders. 2 touchdown passes there for Teddy Ballgame. Finally, let's get you to Baltimore. Check on the Ravens at home at M&T Bank Stadium. And they were winners in that one over the visiting LA Chargers. Lamar Jackson, 4 touchdown passes in the victory. Time now for a check of the next-gen stats in that first half for the Cardinals. And it's been the passing game that's been the story. They have feasted on this secondary to the tune of 200-plus yards already through 2 quarters. Meanwhile, for the Browns, they weren't quite as successful throwing the ball as their counterparts were, but they still were able to move the ball reasonably well in that first half. Final adjustments being made for the second half. Whether they'll amount to much in a game that's already pretty well decided, well, that's another question. Nevertheless, let's get you back out to Brandon and Charles.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. The Browns going to see the football first, but they trail here as we resume play on EA Sports. And here comes a return from just beyond the goal line. And they'll get him down right around the 25, actually the 26 officially, so a net gain of 1 there. The Browns offense getting set to go to work here to start the third, and they have a mountainous deficit looming in front of them. It was really, Charles, a disaster of a first half, so where do they go from here?
Well, first thing they have to remember is that what's done is done, and there's no going back. And now you have to play this drive by drive. Obviously, come back in this spot, pretty unlikely, but you still have to go out, take pride in your work, and try and put something together here in the second half. Now, that was an excellent run, and when you see that happen, that's when you're seeing guys doing their job, and then some people doing a little bit more. Offensive linemen and tight ends, they're expected to block, but the wide receivers, all they want to do is catch passes, so when they block...
And now off to the races, down the right side, and all the way in, touchdown, Cleveland. Nick Chubb hitting double digits with his 10th touchdown of the season. And the Browns come right out of the locker room and score here in the opening minute of the third quarter. Nick Chubb, about as dynamic a runner as the NFL has to offer. He put his talents on full display there. That was some kind of run.
And that's why he's one of the best running backs in the game today, because this run combined all the elements. Started with patience, and he was just waiting for the right lane to materialize. Then once he saw it, he used his speed and escapability in tandem and turned this into a tremendous play.
And he covered a lot of ground on that one, as evidenced by the final total there on Next Gen Stats. The Browns kicking team out there now as they'll send this one away. And no run back here for more. It's a touchback, and it'll come out to the 25. Kyler Murray going to lead the Cardinals back out on offense. And we have seen him to this point with 4 touchdowns. We get a glance at his work. It's been good work.
Oh, it's been excellent work, and it's made so much better by our guys. Look at that montage of great plays that they put together. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, you speak it pretty well, but these guys, the pictures they put up,
very good, and he's got his team in the lead right now. Ready to go with their next drive, and at the line, the Cardinal offense. And Murray in trouble here, and down he goes. Myles Garrett, he's the culprit, and that is now his 13th sack of the season as his great year continues. And that'll be marked down as their first sack of the game.
Well, they had 6 last week, and this offense did its homework, didn't it? Because they saw all that pressure, and they really worked hard to tamp it down and beat it back, and they did a great job in the first half. And now they've got their first sack here in the second half. Look out, they'll try to increase the pressure.
So that complicates things a bit here. 18 yards to go now on second down. Another try after the first down sack. Murray over the middle. That's hauled in by Isabella. It's a pickup of 12, and that'll set up a third down.
Fired that one in there, able to make connection on a nice in route.
With those faster passes when they're going that fast, any hesitation as a quarterback that the deflection, if you miss, might be bigger and lead to an interception?
Yeah, and the deflection works both ways. Maybe a defender gets a hand in the way and it pops in the air, and sometimes you throw it so hard your receiver can't handle it, and he pops it up in the air for the defenders to grab as well.
But a moot point there as they were able to connect. They punted 3 times in the loss last week as he sends this one away. And he'll be out of bounds across the 30-yard line. It'll be a 41-yard punt, give them 5 on the return. And the Browns will take over, 1st and 10. The offense trots back out there. Let's turn our focus now to Nick Chubb. You start prorating these rushing numbers and looking ahead, he could be on pace for a 2,000-yard season. I don't want to jinx him, but what a year to this point.
But you just did.
Sorry?
That's okay. No, he can overcome that.
I'm not
right?
apologizing to you.
No.
Okay?
I like your attitude. But you're right. What's got to happen for it to actually occur? Offensive line has continued blocking the way they've been blocking. He has to stay healthy. But also, it's not just the idea that he's going to run the football, but you got to run it against numbers that dictate you throwing the football. Sometimes when you have 6 to block and you only have 5 guys, you've got to block them anyway, and he has to make someone miss as well the rest of the year.
Give him 3 on first down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7.
At the 46-yard line.
Mayfield hands it off to Chubb. And he works his way forward for about 4 up to the midfield stripe.
But really, that was no surprise there. They've been running it well all game, and I know goals change all the time, but any team will take that type of run each and every time.
They run it again with Chubb. Oh, he pulls over him. And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40.
Despite the score, despite the deficit, no quitting this guy. He's running angry, running through arm tackles. He wants to change what that scoreboard is saying.
Rolling to his right. He completes it to Beckham. And he is out of bounds, but first he gets it inside the 10 to the 7. That goes for a gain of 31. Now look, you're not going to be able to get this all back at once, but that certainly helps.
So you're saying 3 yards in a cloud of dust, not the strategy?
I go aerial attack.
Yeah, I think that's what has to happen. And if you're going to run it, you need to break off big chunks. We just saw a big play right there. They need plenty of those.
Now a chance to make that big play really hurt. It's 1st and goal just outside the 5. Mayfield gives this one to Hunt. They'll get this halfway home from the 8 to the 4 on a gain of 4.
And Brad, they went to a nickel defense, and that's a surprise this close to the goal line, because ordinarily you use the back end of the end zone, the sidelines as extra defenders, and you want bigger people on the field to try and help against the run.
And he will push his way forward down to about the 3-yard line. 2 straight shots on the ground. Now on 3rd, do you go to the air?
I think the possibility exists, and if you're doing it, you're probably going play action since you ran it twice. But I often think that 2nd down is a time you go play action and throw the ball. I say commit to the run and think about it being 4-down territory.
Defense didn't budge on 3rd down. Now what are we going to see on 4th?
We're soon to find out, but does this feel like old school football or what?
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It's an old-fashioned goal line stand. I know what I would call on offense.
And this time he is in. Nick Chubb with touchdown number 2 in the game, and now 11 on the year. And the Browns are able to cut into this deficit here in the final minute of the 3rd. So 4th and goal, their head coach gave that offensive line one more chance to punch it in, and this time they were successful.
They certainly paid off the coach's confidence, didn't they? And how about the fact that they stayed with the ground game? Because a lot of times in that situation, partner, we see teams try and roll the quarterback out, give him a little run-pass option, and treat it like a 2-point conversion play. In this case, they went with a little bit more power and got it done.
Extra point by McLaughlin is up and good. And that'll make this now an 11-point deficit. The Browns kicking team out there now as they'll send this one away. And Moore, he's going to sit on this one, and the drive will begin at the 25-yard line. So here are the Cardinals to take over. They lost 2 straight coming in, but good news for them right now. They've got the lead and the football. Murray and the Cardinals with a 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. To throw, it's Murray. Buying time to his left. And he'll take this beyond the line of scrimmage as he slides to a hole. Give him a couple on the scramble. It's second down.
How about a tip of the cap to the defense? They're working against a very mobile quarterback, but all day long they've kept him under wraps. And on that play, they held him to a short gain.
And we're back now here in Cleveland. It's Cardinal football. They're also out in front of the scoreboard as we get set for the fourth. They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line. On the handoff, Connor. And he'll get about 3 here as he's out to the 30.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where there'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
And he will not be able to hang on through the contact. It's incomplete. The coverage strong, and now it's 4th down. Charles, you said earlier this defense is probably going to need to hold these guys right around 20 or under that if they were going to have a chance. It was evident pretty early on that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, they left 20 behind a long time ago in this game, didn't they? It looks like they're headed towards a big, big number. But 20 was the threshold because that kept them in the ball game and kept the pressure off of their own offense.
Here comes the Browns offense back onto the field. Well, still a long way to go, but trending upward. They scored the last time out, you remember. Then their defense forced the punt. Now they try to inch closer, but still ultimately down 2 scores in the final quarter. To begin the drive, here's a handoff to Hunt. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
Well, sometimes you just have to give credit to the defense. Great job there at the point of attack, holding up. They won their battles at the line of scrimmage, left him no space to try and run. A really nice job swarming to the ball carrier.
And he'll get this up to the 34-yard line. 96 yards rushing now for the NFL leader coming into this ball game. From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. Mayfield on play action. Sliding out of the pocket. And that one's going to be off target and incomplete. The Pro Bowler Odell Beckham, the intended receiver. And now it's 2nd down.
He was covered by Michael Butler.
Play action now. Here's Mayfield. He'll buy some time right. Looks for Beckham again. This time he finds him. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. That one a gain of 20 and a 1st down. Here's Mayfield. Forced out to his left. Looking left sideline, incomplete. Austin Hooper, the tight end, was the intended target. And it's 2nd down. Handoff comes to Chubb. He takes this for about 6 down inside the 40.
Boy, where would these guys be without his performance on the ground? That puts him over 100 yards now for the afternoon, and I tell you, he seems to be getting stronger as the day goes along.
And he gets it to the 34, good enough for the 1st. And now they're in the hurry-up. They go play action, Mayfield. They'll roll him out right. It's caught by OBJ. And he gets this one inside the 15, just a yard or 2 shy of the 10. Play fake, Mayfield. And that is incomplete. Oh, the coverage a little too good there, and it's 2nd down. He was trying to go back to Beckham there, but it'll be 2nd down. Mayfield to throw it. Dancing to his left. And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Cleveland. Baker Mayfield, a 12-yard touchdown run. And the Browns have made it a 1-score game again here in the 4th. Here we go now as we get set for a big 2-point conversion. Hunt going to run for it, and he will get into the end zone as a 2-point conversion is successful, and the lead is down to a field goal here in the 4th. I guess the coach looked at the two-point cheat sheet, said go for it, get it to a three-point game, and they did it.
Yeah, and sometimes you just throw out time of game. You don't worry about that. There's just a feel sometimes in making that call, and he felt good about what he had for a two-point conversion, and now they're only down 3 and feeling great about themselves.
Taken at the goal line. And that decision to bring it out ends up not being a good one. Costs him about 5 yards as he's tackled at the 20. Arizona's offense back out and ready to go. They've been asleep for a little while on this side of the football, Charles, and the score is just a one-score game now. Haven't had any points this half. What gives?
Let's go old school here. All right, let's get back to the basics. Get back to running the football, high percentage throws. Find the guys that eat pressure and make plays for you and make sure they touch it.
Here's a pass swung out left to his running back. No gain, and it's second down.
Give him the completion. No gain, but let's focus in on that tackle. Open field tackling, the hardest thing to do in the game, I believe.
But when you get outside the tackle box, it becomes a numbers game. The defense had more than they could block. Now a throw here to his running back. And he's going to get 7 out of this before being taken down at the 27. So the Cardinals, they've got the football here as we get you reset. They're facing a critical third down now as they try to hold on to this lead. On the slant, complete to Green. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. He's been the go-to guy. They needed a big play there on third down. Went his way. It worked out.
Doesn't matter whether they've scouted it or that they think he's going to get the ball. He has a knack for finding his way open and completing the connection.
On 1st and 10 is counter. And he's going to take this across the 50 into Browns territory. Now the Browns will use the first of their 3 timeouts as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming second down play. They'll go option to the short side. And he's going to have to protect the football and take his lumps here at this stage of the game as they stop him behind the line. Got his man, it's Williams. And he is going to have a Cardinals first down by about 3 yards or so as they wind up getting 7 there on 3rd and 4. It's a gain of 7, and that should just about do it. And they take a knee. Down to a knee goes Murray as that will just about wrap this thing up. And that knee will do it. So they snap the losing streak. Always a good feeling.
Yeah, I don't know if this one right here when they're taking a knee is as much exultation as exhalation, right? They just breathe a sigh of relief. Finally got a win. Needed one desperately.
So it's a win here for the Arizona Cardinals. And it was a bit of a strange game. They were held scoreless through the entire second half, but their first half output, that's enough to carry them to victory.
And that's an odd game to watch, isn't it? Because when we saw the output in the first half, you think to yourself, okay, they've got something working here. They know what they're doing. They'll continue that along. But instead, it's goose eggs in the second half. Fortunately, enough of a cushion and enough defense to carry them home.
So for the Cards, they climb back to 500 now at 3 up and 3 down. And they'll head back home next week to take on the Houston Texans. Meanwhile, for Cleveland, they taste defeat for the first time this season as they drop to 5-1. And they'll have a tough one at home next week against the Denver Broncos.